Hey guys, Keith from the Ashland Fly Shop here. I'm on the Upper Rogue in a very private, undisclosed spot. We're here to talk to you about the salmon flies that are coming and give you a few quick tips to make your life a little easier this salmon fly season. First thing I want to talk to you about is rod selection. My personal favorite's my 9'5" weight. 9'6" weight's a great choice, even up into a 7 weight sometimes if the wind is up. You do get a little bit of a bigger fish here sometimes. You know, if you're out on the main stem and the water's up, that's a good choice. But we really, 5 and 6 weight 9-foot rods are about the best for us here. A big part of that is the fly lines after your rod is your fly lines. I personally have 3 or 4 different lines for each rod. I've got a line for my really dainty, delicate dry flies that the presentation's got to be perfect. Then I've got, my big honkers. We're throwing some pretty big flies. That means that, we want a little bit heavier of a line. A little more weight in the forward end, maybe even a half line to a full-size heavy. Rio Grande, great line, can't say enough about it. The Anadro from SA, same thing. They're kind of just big bug lines. Rio's got another one out this year called the Perception. Another, just kind of huck them out there. We're not really trying to get these flies out there delicately. We're just trying to get them out there. Leaders. Really important part of this for me that I had to learn a while ago. This is not a 15-foot leader kind of presentation. You will never get that fly to turn over. So I have been going to the 7.5-foot leaders for Rio. 3 and 4X up here. They're not leader shy. Might as well use something a little heavier to be able to get that fish out of the water real fast and release them. But short leaders are really going to help that turnover. They're a little stiffer, a little easier just to get the fly out there. Airflow's got, the poly leader, same thing. It's a little bit stiffer, a little bit shorter. I know you would typically think about this for your trout space stuff, but getting a big fly to turn over on your single hand rod, this is another really great way to do it. TIPPET material, same thing. 3X, 4X, I'd stay away from 5X up here. You're just going to break off the fish, and somebody down the line's going to get a fish with a fly in its face, and who likes that, So 4X, 3X, little shorter leaders, you're good to go. Bugs, bugs, bugs. All over the Rogue. If you go to the Rogue with 2 flies and think that you're going to have enough for the salmon fly hatched, it's just not enough. I'm the first guy to have 2 flies in my box, and that's it for certain things, not for this. You can see there's a whole variation of flies here, little bit different sizes, different makeup. If the chubby Chernobyl, I hate this fly. I absolutely hate this fly. But damn it, if it isn't like the King Kong of the fly world for this. But you do have to have some weird, funky thing that when they quit eating this guy, that they look at this one a second time and come up and take it. You could throw, I'd say, you walk through a run, put on a different fly, go through the same run with a different fly, then put on another fly, go through that same run. As soon as they turn off to one fly, switch them out. And that can mean that you have 5 or 6 different, variations of stone flies in there. Different sizes, different colors, all that stuff. They all move a little bit different. Really important. I know that, it's not just about fly sales. If you don't have a bunch of these, you're not going to be all that effective. A net. it is key. It's key to landing these fish, especially, you know, we're going to be pinching our barbs, they're going to be in close, fish is going to be freaking out. You want to get them in, you don't want to hurt them, but you still want to be able to get your little picture and all that. So have a net, scoop them up nice and gently. I really like the rubberized nets. I think everybody has pretty much gone to that. The old green nets, I don't say throw it in the landfill, but put it up on your wall and call it your granddad's net and get some rubber. Don't really have to carry a lot out there. I mean, most of the stuff, if you're walking or wading, we're pretty close to our cars anyway. So just, you know, any pack, whether it's a sling or this fish pond pack that I've been using forever, you don't have to carry a lot. You just have to have the right stuff in there. You know, you'll see I definitely got my mitten scissor clamps. I love these things, you know, pinching your barbs, cutting your line, all that stuff. I keep it right there so it's just always next to me and I never have to go groping around for it. But, you know, there's not a lot in here. I've got a couple of leaders, some flies, some, you know, some dry shake material. But I like it because it's super simple. The simpler you keep your life out here, the more you're going to focus on the fishing, not on all your gear. So those are just a few of the basic things that you can do on your way to the water to, you know, get at the fly shop and get ready and kind of get prepared. Now we're going to kind of go to the water and I'm going to show you why some of those things are important, like the leader length and that bigger line. So here we go. Let's go fishing. So here we are, we're on the water. You'll notice I'm wearing wading pants. Typically when I'm out here, I like to wear waders. Even, you know, in the middle of the day, this water temperature is really cold. If you look, you know, the dam on the Rogue is right there. So that water temperature is usually pretty cold for us. I see a lot of guys wet wading. Hallelujah to you. I can't do it. It gets cold for me, especially in the evenings. You know, and what's going to happen is when the bugs are really going off, you know, 4:30 to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, when that sun starts to dip and you're out there and you're wet wading, you're going to get cold. And you're going to go home right at the heat of this thing when it's really good. So I recommend waders. You know, you can get a nice pair of lightweight waders. Simms has got the flyweight wader. Nice pair of wading pants works good. You know, you don't really have to wade all that deep out there, but being wet, you know, in the evening when this really happens is, it's just not all that great. I'm all rigged up. I've got a 7.5 foot leader. I've got a Rio Gold on here. What I have done, I've pinched down my barbs, you know, and I put a non-slip mono loop on this. I'm sure Chris, when he's editing this, will put a nice little mono loop picture for you there or something. But what I like about that is it's really going to allow this fly to move around and kind of get squirrely. And that's, you know, if you're watching those big salmon flies, that's what they do. Really important out here, you know, when you're dry fly fishing, you really want these flies to float. So we've got a couple of different you know, dry shakes and floatant that I keep with me. This is a foam fly, so it doesn't take too much. But if it starts sinking, you know, and even before the fact, I will just go ahead and stick this sucker in a bottle, shake it real good so it's floating right off the bat, and do that even before I go fishing, just to kind of give it just a little bit of help. So one thing I see out here quite often is that I see guys just charge all the way out to this water and just start fishing. You know, sometimes these fish, they're right here. You can't see them. They're super, you know, super camouflaged. But my biggest tip to people is if you're gonna walk through it, put a fly through it. So this is once again where those short leaders, short little heavier leaders and a heavier tip is going to come in handy. We're just going to get this going right here, and you'll see I'm just going to start right in front of me. Then I'm gonna pick it back up, go a little further out until I'm working my way out into that water to where that green seam is. But there are fish right here. So now that we're out here, this is really where this kind of all comes together. Boom. Nice drift, short. Biggest thing you gotta do is just be a little gentle with your mends. So one thing I see out here a lot is a lot of this back casting going on with these flies. What's gonna happen there is you got that big old fly and they get really twisted up. So what I'll do a lot of times, I'll stop what I'm doing and just kind of straighten out that fly and make sure there's no twist in my line anymore. The twistier that is, it's just not gonna sit on the water right, and it's gonna affect your casting. It's gonna get all twisted up. You're gonna get a knot in it. Once it just lands on the water and just kind of dead drifts, you're good to go. I kind of touched on it before, and now I'm gonna touch on it again. You know, I just worked through this run all the way out to as far as I can cast, and nothing ate that fly. Went all the way down, came all the way back. So now I'm gonna pick another fly, something different, something, you know, something ugly and brash, maybe. Let's try that. All right, so changed my fly, got it all shaken up, got some floating on it. The other thing I like to do is really just kind of spread out these wings to give it a little bit of a different look too for those fish. So here we go. And the same thing though, once you start again, start in close again. Remember, it's a different fly. So if you start in close, there are fish there. I know you're thinking, no way, not at 1.5 feet or 2 feet, but they're right there. All right, another big tip here. You know, I've been fishing this fly for quite a bit now, and it's not really floating the way that I want it to. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna dry it off. You can do that by, you know, casting in the air, but then you're just gonna twist your line. I like to just kind of blow it off, then put it in my dry shake and shake it a bunch. And when you think you've shaken it enough, stop and shake it again, because you probably haven't shaken it enough to get enough floatant on there. But for me, what I've noticed with this is that the more I do this, the higher that fly floats, the better off I am, the more action I get from the fish. Don't stand in one place. That's huge. If you are standing in one place, you're just not covering water. You know, the etiquette usually is to start at the top and walk down, and everybody that comes in behind you is going to come in on top and then follow you down. So kind of keep that circular motion. Everybody's going to be happy. The more you walk down that, the more fish you're going to put your fly in front of. You know, don't be afraid of going behind the next guy either, because you got a different fly than he does. The setup's a little bit different. A different fish is going to look at it and eat it, you know. So just kind of make sure you move a lot, kind of doing that circular pattern. Start at the upstream side of somebody and follow them down. Give them enough space so that they don't think you're an asshole, and keep going. For me, the biggest presentation problem that people have out here is drag and getting a drag-free drift. That is key. You don't want the fly, let's see if I can get it to happen. See, now I've got a big drag there and it's pulling my fly under, right? So even with a lot of line out, you just got to gently mend and keep that fly line on the uphill side or upstream side of that fly and keep a drag-free drift moving. We'll do it again. You know, upstream, it's going to kind of walk to us. Just mend gently and keep it on the upstream side. A drag-free drift is really key in this. One thing to think about on the Rogue this year, as you can see, it's been a low water year, so we are going to be really slimy out there. Studs and a wading staff, gonna be key. Even if you think you're tough and you don't need one, when you go sliding down the river, you're gonna be bummed that you didn't have one. So studs and wading staff are gonna be key out here this year. All right, I think that's about it. For me, just make this stuff simple for yourself. Have a good time, relax, treat others good, and shorten up your leaders and switch your flies quite often and keep them dry, and you'll have a good time. You'll catch lots of fish. See you later. Go fishing.